Hello everybody, once again my name is Half Benchwarmer and you are watching the River Region High School Football Show. Kind of a tongue twister here on Half Benchwarmer TV. And the reason, first of all, why I'm even doing this show can be found in the link I'll put somewhere on the screen right now, talking about why I'm not doing my normal videos. And the second reason, or the second thing I have to explain to you, is why this is on Half Benchwarmer TV is because uh, just people don't know anything about sports, obviously, on the internet at all. All they know is Call of Duty and porn. Literally, that's a study. You should look it up. But anyway, getting back to this, once again it's called the River Region High School Football Show. And once again, the river region is along the Alabama River in Montgomery, Alabama. And the first of all, let me explain something to you. In the AHSAA, Alabama High School Athletic Association, there are 6 classifications: 1A, 2A, 3A, and so on, up to 6A. Anyway, what I'm going to be covering is just 6A, because if I cover every classification, that'd take forever to do. Sorry if this one is going to be a little bit crappy. I had to put it together at the last minute, or I was just kind of figuring out what to do next time. I'll be more smooth and everything. I get a format that I'm going to go by now. But this one's going to be kind of rough, but I'm still going to try to give you the big picture. I got a couple of the playoff prediction wrongs. Oh, by the way, I'm going to be covering two regions. There are 8 regions in each classification. I'm going to be covering Region 3 and Region 4, and those are the areas around Montgomery and to the east and north of it. Excuse me. What was I about to say? I lost my train of thought. Oh, I got a couple of the playoff scenarios wrong with Pelham. That's a school just south of Birmingham, in the suburbs of Birmingham. I said that all they had to do was win and they were in. Or I'm not even sure if I gave the playoff scenarios. But that one was just so complicated. Just know that it's complicated, and I'm still trying to decipher what they needed. But anyway, here are the teams in 6A Region 3. These are more teams around Montgomery. This is mainly Montgomery schools. First, we have the Auburn Tigers, not the uh, college Auburn Tigers, not Auburn University, but Auburn High School. But hey, I like Auburn too, or Eagle. The Carver Wolverines, that's located in Montgomery. Central Phoenix City Red Devils, that they are located in Phoenix City, Alabama. That is very close to Columbus, Georgia. You have the Jeff Davis Volunteers. They suck. You have the Opelika Bulldogs. They are rivals with Auburn, as they're just a little bit to the north. I believe they're to the northwest of Auburn. You have the Sidney Lanier Poets. Yep, their intimidation factor. They sound as intimidating, or they are as intimidating as they sound. Not intimidating at all. They haven't won a game all year. So, if you will, they suck. And Smith Station, they're actually really good this year. They're also close to Auburn. They're near Phoenix City. Smith Station, they're actually really good this year. And so here are the standings for 6A Region 3 entering Friday, with 2 region games remaining entering Friday. And in the AHSAA, it is the top 4 teams in each region that get to go to the playoffs. The Smith Station Panthers were first in their region, up 3 games on the Central Phoenix City Red Devils. So they locked themselves a spot in the playoffs, followed by the Auburn Tigers and the Opelika Bulldogs. They already have spots in the playoffs as well. But it's the Carver Wolverines and the Central Phoenix City Red Devils who were battling out for that fourth spot on Friday. They weren't playing against each other, but they wanted to win and the other to lose, of course, to get that fourth spot. Robert E. Lee, Jeff Davis, and Sidney Lanier, they're all 2, 2, and 3 games back of fourth place, which is Carver. So, was there any way that Robert E. Lee, Jeff Davis, or Sidney Lanier could make it to the playoffs? Well, each of them would need every other team but them to forfeit for this week and next week. But Central Phoenix City and Sidney Lanier kicked off. So, yep, they're out of playoff contention. So with Central Phoenix City really being the only one on the brink of elimination, needing to win, and for Carver to lose, we'll jump to their game first. By the way, I was trying to make this run smoothly, and it did not work. So the highlights are going to be a little bit choppy, or the way I say them is going to be a little bit choppy. But Central Phoenix City, since they were, first of all, the first player of the week, they played on Thursday night against Sidney Lanier. Let's see how they did. The fifth place Central Phoenix City Red Devils needed a win on Thursday night against a winless Sidney Lanier Poets. And also they needed fourth place Carver to lose to the undefeated Smith Station Panthers. So it seemed pretty probable they needed a win against a winless opponent, and Carver needed to lose against an undefeated opponent. So could Central Phoenix City get their end of the deal done? Exactly what they did. They whopped Sidney Lanier 38-6, keeping their playoff hopes alive. But once again, they needed help from their friends at Smith Station to defeat Carver. So let's see how that one fared out. Once again, the Smith Station Panthers came into this one undefeated, needing a win or losses by both Auburn and Opelika to secure a Region 3 title. Their opponents, the Carver Wolverines, 3-2 in the region and 5-2 overall, needed a win with the Central Phoenix City win on Thursday night to lock up the fourth and final seed in Region 3. But a Carver win was impossible, right? Smith Station was undefeated coming into this game. There's no way Carver could win this game, right? Wrong. The Wolverines stunned the crowd on just the second play of the game when Smith Station fumbled the football and Carver defender Ricky Scott picked it up and returned it 34 yards for a touchdown. They really stunned the crowd when they were up 20-0 just 1 minute into the second quarter. And that's all they needed, as they will go on to upset and upend Smith Station 41-7. Carver's Draquan Murphy was the hands-down MVP of this game, scoring 3 times on a rushing touchdown, a receiving touchdown, and a pick six. Carver quarterback Mike McKinney wasn't too shabby himself, going 15 for 20, gaining 171 yards and 3 touchdowns. With the shocking upset of Smith Station, Central Phoenix City is eliminated from playoff contention, as Carver locked up the fourth seed in Region 3 with a win. But the other 3 seeds are real murky. Auburn, Smith Station, and Opelika are now tied for first place in Region 3, but Smith Station owns tiebreakers between both of them since they won against both of them in the regular season. Speaking of Auburn and Opelika, Auburn handed Robert E. Lee its 7th loss of the year Friday night at Crampton Bowl, as Auburn won that one 35-14, and Opelika absolutely dismantled Jeff Davis 37-6. Similar situation for both of these teams. They both won on Friday night, which means both of their hopes for winning the region title are still alive with the Smith Station loss. And next Friday night, Auburn and Opelika play each other. So if Smith Station loses next Friday night, the winner of this game will be Region 3 winner. And here are the 6A Region 3 standings after Friday night's action. With one region game remaining, the Smith Station Panthers, the Auburn Tigers, and Opelika Bulldogs are all tied for first. But if Smith Station can win on Friday night, they will win the region title. But if they lose, the winner of the Auburn-Opelika game will be the region winners. The only team that has locked up their seed is the Carver Wolverines. They have locked up the fourth and final seed. Robert E. Lee, Jeff Davis, and Sidney Lanier were already out of playoff contention before Friday night, but the Central Phoenix City Red Devils were eliminated from playoff contention on Friday night due to the Carver win, the shocking win against Smith Station. And the other region we'll be talking about in this show is 6A Region 4. Now, these teams are mostly to the north of Montgomery. In fact, all of them are to the north of Montgomery. And let me explain something. First of all, region alignment in the Alabama High School Athletic Association. Once again, the AHSAA is real screwed up. They used to have it to where it was just one, like, they still had different regions in 6A, but they had them to where they were more local. So Prattville and Wetumpka, which I will explain who they are in a minute, were in the same region as Carver and Sidney Lanier and all that. And they really screwed up their region alignment last year, and we're going to have to wait till 2014, 2015 till they realign all the regions to get anything better, I guess you could say. Most of these teams in this region are suburbs of Birmingham, Alabama, but since they are in the same region as the few teams that are near Montgomery, we have to cover them. Actually, I'm not obligated to do anything, but yeah. I'm going to be reading these to you once again in alphabetical order. First, we have from Alabaster, the Chelsea Hornets. And these are all basically suburbs of Birmingham. Then you have the Oak Mountain Eagles, another suburb of Birmingham. Then another suburb of Birmingham, the Pelham Panthers. Then the one team that is actually close to Montgomery. It is literally only a couple minutes away from Montgomery. And they are a historically great team, the Prattville Lions. They have won around 7, 5, something like that, state titles in the past 10 years or something like that. Then you have the Spain Park Jaguars. They're probably one of the richest schools you'll ever hear of. Yet that hasn't really equaled to a lot of success as far as state championships, or not, at least not in recent memory. They did go to a state championship against Prattville, I think, in 2008 or something like that, and they lost. Then you have the Stanhope Elmore Mustangs. They're in a town right by Prattville. In fact, it's almost like a suburb of a suburb. It's a town called, once again, Millbrook, Alabama. Then you have the Thompson Warriors. They're from Alabaster. I don't know if I said Chelsea was from Alabaster earlier, because that'd be really stupid. But the Chelsea Hornets are actually from Chelsea, Alabama. Which, I don't know why I would say Alabaster. I think I was just thinking of Alabaster because it came in alphabetical order, and that's how I'm reading this. But the Thompson Warriors are from Alabaster, Alabama. Okay? And then Wetumpka, the Wetumpka Indians, they're directly north of Montgomery. They're right by Prattville and Millbrook, and they are a historically good team. They're kind of like the little brothers, or as the Prattville Lions would like to say, the little sisters of Prattville. So basically, in 6A Region 4, you have 3 teams, Wetumpka, Prattville, and Stanhope Elmore, that are right around Montgomery, and then the other 5 teams, I guess, the other 5 teams are all suburbs of Birmingham. So between Birmingham, a little bit south of Birmingham, because that's where all the suburbs are that these football teams come from. Between there and Metro Montgomery, that's a long way, and that's why the regional alignments are real bad. They used to have it perfect, and it's the same way in southern Alabama. For example, teams like Daphne, they're in the same region as Enterprise and Dothan, which makes absolutely no sense. Let's look at the standings in 6A Region 4, entering Friday night with 2 region games remaining. The Spain Park Jaguars undefeated, kind of in a similar situation that Smith Station was in, except Smith Station couldn't pull through. They are 3 games, they're a game ahead of Prattville, and they are 3 games ahead of Wetumpka, which is the 5th team out. That's how it goes by. So they have, and the reason I do this is to see if they've locked up a playoff spot, and they have locked up a playoff spot. Prattville came in 4-1 in their region, 4-2. Next was the Pelham Panthers, and they were a game ahead of the Stanhope Elmore Mustangs. And Stanhope, Elmore, Wetumpka, Oak Mountain, Thompson were all tied for 4th place. So this was actually a lot closer of a race than Region 3 was, and Chelsea is down at the bottom 2 games back. So it was an interesting scenario going into Friday. So how could the teams in this region deliver? The Prattville Lions taking on the Oak Mountain Eagles on Friday night. Prattville coming into this one 4-1 in region play and 5-1 overall. Oak Grove 2-3 in region play and 3-4 overall. Playoff scenario for Prattville was that they needed a win to lock up a second seed in Region 4. For Oak Mountain, they needed a win or losses by both Stanhope and Wetumpka to stay alive. At the half, it was Prattville ahead 7-0, but Oak Mountain tied it at 7 early in the third quarter. Cameron Petaway broke the tie midway through the third quarter, though, with a 47-yard run up the middle. Prattville led 14-7. We move ahead to the last play of the third quarter when quarterback Kalen Whitlow connected on a 19-yard slant route with wide receiver Jimmy Stoudemire. Not sure if I'm saying that right, but it gave Prattville a commanding 28-7 lead. Things got interesting, though, in the fourth. Prattville led 28-14 when a turnover set up Oak Mountain to score with about 3 minutes left when QB Lewis Shader took it in from a yard out. That made it 28-21, but the onside kick failed, and Prattville would run out the clock and go on to win. The win for Prattville secured a second-place seed in the region, and with the loss, Oak Mountain is eliminated from playoff contention. Oak Mountain losing on the brink of elimination, but could their friends from Alabaster Thompson win? While not necessarily on the brink of elimination, a win against Wetumpka could really help them. Wetumpka taking the trip up to Alabaster on Friday night to face Thompson, as it was a big matchup to set up who can take that fourth seed in Region 4. All Wetumpka had to do was win to guarantee their own fate next week versus Stanhope Elmore, but Thompson needed a win and or a Stanhope loss to stay alive. Middle of the first quarter, Wetumpka up 3-0. They had the ball in the Thompson 27 when Charlie Crenshaw would take it in for the touchdown. He would be huge in this game, and Wetumpka went up 10-0. They would take that lead into halftime and all the way into the fourth quarter after a quiet third quarter. Once again, mid-fourth quarter, Wetumpka starting to ice this thing away as Crenshaw once again scores from 5 yards out to extend Wetumpka's lead to 17-0. After a Thompson turnover, they had 4 on the night. Wetumpka took over once again, and quarterback Samuel Britton hit wide receiver Khalid Jones on a 21-yard pump-and-go route to put Wetumpka up 24-0, putting the nail in the coffin. Wetumpka would go on to win. Wetumpka once again forced 4 Thompson turnovers, holding them to only 92 rushing yards, as Wetumpka's defense came up huge. Another person who came up big was Charlie Crenshaw with 2 touchdowns and 109 yards rushing on the night, more than Thompson had. With the loss, Thompson is eliminated from playoff contention. Or were they? We'll explain in a minute. The Chelsea Hornets, 0-5 in their division and 2-5 overall, coming into Friday night, shocked the Pelham Panthers, who were 3-2 in their division and 5-2 overall. The Hornets battered the Panthers 55-43 as the Chelsea QB Trent Higgins ran for 119 yards and ran for 2 touchdowns as well, throwing another. Senior running back Austin Washington also came up big for Chelsea, rushing for 118 total yards as well as racking up 3 touchdowns. Chelsea had 409 total yards of offense, 319 of them being rushing. This shootout loss for Pelham creates an interesting scenario. Earlier I mentioned Thompson was eliminated with the loss to Wetumpka, but with Pelham losing and Thompson losing, Thompson is only a game back of Pelham. If Thompson can win next weekend's Oak Mountain and Pelham loses against Spain Park, who hasn't lost all year, so that would be very possible, or probable as I should say, that Pelham would lose. Pelham, Thompson, and the winner of the Wetumpka-Stanhope game will be in a 3-way tie for 3rd and 4th. Thompson won against Pelham during the regular season, so they would win the tiebreaker with Pelham, but with a 3-way tie, it would take a complicated tiebreaker to select who makes the playoffs, which I have no idea how it works. The Spain Park Jaguars came in a Friday night showdown undefeated with the Stanhope Elmore Mustangs, who came into the game 2-3 in region play and 4-3 overall. Spain Park needed to win or needed a Prattville loss to claim the 6A Region 4 title. The game went into halftime with a narrow 7-6 margin for Spain Park and a missed extra point by Stanhope was the difference in the game. But Spain Park came out swinging in the second half, scoring 13 unanswered points with the help of 2 touchdown runs by senior running back Otis Harris. Stanhope got back momentum quickly behind an 80-yard touchdown run by quarterback Jarius Wilson. And then Stanhope coach Jeff Foshee gambled on an onside kick, and Stanhope recovered it. A few plays later, although, Wilson threw an interception to Spain Park safety A.J. Smiley, and Stanhope didn't threaten the Jaguars again. Spain Park went on to win 34-13, and with the win, Spain Park secured the Region 4 championship and a first-place seed. With the loss and the Wetumpka win, Stanhope and Wetumpka swap places for 4th and 5th place, but that won't matter as the winner of the Wetumpka-Stanhope game next week will go to the playoffs if the three-way tie I mentioned earlier doesn't happen. If that happens, then I'm freaking lost. And after a busy Friday night of football, here are how the 6A Region 4 standings look. Spain Park, of course, atop Region 4, and of course they locked up the region title and the first place seed, and right below them are the Prattville Lions, and they locked up the second place seed with the win on Friday night. And then below that, it is pure craziness. Hypothetically, Pelham is third with a 3-3 record in the region, and in fourth place, Wetumpka with a 3-3 record in the region, and below that, Stanhope with a 3-3 record in the region. Then below that, Thompson with a 3-3 record in the region, and then in 7th and 8th place, Oak Mountain and Chelsea. They are, of course, eliminated from playoff contention. So with I guess you could call it a four-way tie between Thompson, Stanhope, Wetumpka, and Pelham. Let's try to sort this out. First of all, Wetumpka and Stanhope both own tiebreakers over Thompson, but Pelham does not. Pelham lost to Thompson in the regular season, so if Pelham can lose and Thompson can win, it will be a three-way tie between Pelham, Thompson, and the winner of the Wetumpka-Stanhope game. Wow, it's going to be pure craziness on Friday night on October the 25th, and that Wetumpka versus Stanhope game, that one is going to be a game for the ages. And the Friday night matchups for 6A Region 3 and October 25th. The reason I'm saying October 25th is because I'm getting this video out late. I should have had this out by like Sunday or Monday or something. I waited till Thursday night. And so, yeah, the 6A Region 3 matchups for October 25th are Jeff Davis versus Robert E. Lee. That's a Thursday night matchup, so that's probably already happened. The Auburn versus Opelika game, the winner of that one will claim the second place seed unless Smith Station can lose to Central Phoenix City. Then they'd be region champions. And then Carver plays Sidney Lanier, and that should be a fairly easy game for Carver, as Sidney Lanier has not won a game all year. And once again, Smith Station versus Central Phoenix City, and both Auburn and Opelika are rooting for Central Phoenix City in that one. And the 6A Region 4 matchups for Friday go as following. Spain Park faces Pelham, and for Pelham, it is a game they would really like to win to guarantee them a spot in the playoffs, but they're playing against, once again, undefeated Spain Park. Stanhope Elmore versus Wetumpka, that is the big one. And if there was a game of the week or something, that'd be it. Winner goes to the playoffs. It really doesn't get any better than that. Two cross-county rivals going at it. Then you have Thompson versus Oak Mountain. It is a must-win for the Thompson Warriors. And then you have Prattville versus Chelsea. And you can just kind of scratch that one off your important games list, because that one has no effect on the playoffs or really anything. So, thank you everybody for watching this first and very crappy edition of the River Region High School Football Show. Once again, that's kind of a tongue twister, but kind of catchy, you know what I'm saying. But anyway, thank you for watching. I promise next week's show, which is only going to be in a couple days because I got this thing out so late, will be better put together, I guess I could say. And I screwed up on a lot of like the playoff scenarios and everything, and I'll try to nail that first time. It should be a quicker process. Thank you everybody for watching. God bless.